Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Offering our salutations to Bhagavan Ramana, who shines as the self in every being. We begin today's Saturday Satsang with a prayer. Dakshinamurti Sarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Ramanacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Angikam Bhuvanam Yasya Vachikam Sarva Vangmayam Aharyam Chandrataradi Tam Namas Satvikam Shivam Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. We continue with the chanting of Muktaka trayam by Sri Nandakumarji.
Ekam aksharam hrudi nirantaram bhasate swayam likyate hridaya kuhara madhye kevalam brahmamatram yaham maham sakshat atmarupena bhati Hrudi vishamanasa swam chinvata vajjata panachalanarotha atmanishto bhavatvam Deham mृण्मयवत् जडात्मकम् aham buddhirna tasyastyako naham tattata bhavashukti samay siddhatma sadbhav ko'ham bhavayuta kuto radhiya drishtatmanishtatmana soham sputitaya arunachala shivaha purvo vibha सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं। नमो रमण।
Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with the chanting of a few verses from Upadesa Saram by Kumari Uma Shripati.
Namo Ramana. वायुरोधनात् लीयते मना जालपक्षिवद्रोदसाधनम् चित्तवायवश्चित्क्रियायुताः शाकयोर्द्वयी शक्तिमूलका लयविनाशने उभयरोधने लयगतं पुनर्भवति नोऽमृतम् प्राणबन्धनात् लीनमानसम् एकचिन्तना नाशमेत्यद नष्टमानसो उत्कृष्टयोगिना कृत्यमस्ति किं स्वस्थितिं यत दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मना चित्वदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनं मानसं तु किं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात् वृत्तयस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रिताः वृत्तयो मनो विद्यहं मना अहमयं कुतो भवति चिन्वत ऐपतत्यहं निजविचारणम् अहमिनाशभा ज्यहमहं तय स्फुरति हृत्स्वयं परमपूर्णसत्. नमो रमण.
Namo Ramana. In this part of the satsang, we have a few offerings from Ramananjali Sangeetam. The first offering will be by Srimati V. Radha, followed by an offering by Dr. Pratibha Sundaresh and an offering by Savitri Krishnan and Jaisriram Krishnan. We have the offerings of Ramananjali Sangeetam.
Namo Ramana to all. Today we have selected a song which is very favorite to all the Ramana devotees, and it is Sadhu Swami's song, and the translation is by Vaibhavji Venkateshwarara. We have selected the Telugu version of this, and the music is by Sri L. Krishnan. అన్నామలలోన అధివసించు రాజు అన్నామలలోన అధివసించు రాజు ఆనందమైన బ్రతుకు ఆదరించి అనుగ్రహించు ఆనందమైన బ్రతుకు ఆదరించి అనుగ్రహించు అనుగ్రహించు రమణ దేవ అనుగ్రహించు రమణ దేవ ఎందెందరయంగా అంతా తానొకటే ఎందెందరయంగా అంతా తానొకటే నిన్నే తలచు నాకు సంతసము సమకూర్చు నిన్నే తలచు నాకు సంతసము సమకూర్చు అనుగ్రహించు రమణ దేవ అనుగ్రహించు రమణ దేవ నిన్ను స్తుతింప చాలవు మాటలే లేవు, నిన్ను స్తుతింప చాలవు మాటలే లేవు. జ్యోతిలోన జ్యోతివై వెలుగు స్వయం జ్యోతి, జ్యోతిలోన జ్యోతివై వెలుగు స్వయం జ్యోతి. అనుగ్రహించు రమణ దేవ, 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 అనుగ్రహించు రమణ దేవ. రమణ దేవ రమణ దేవ, 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 రమణ దేవ రమణ దేవ. అన్నామలలోన అధివసించు రాజు, ఆనందమైన బ్రతుకు ఆదరించి అనుగ్రహించు. నమో రమణ.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya is also Sri Sadhu Om's composition, translated to Kannada. Ramanaya 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 Namo Ramanaya 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 Namo Ramanaya 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 Namo Ramanaya 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 Namo Parishubhra Jnana Keneleyad Guruve Padake Mudipagi Nannanne Kodume Ramanaya 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 Namo Ramanaya 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 Namo Ramanaya Namavemba Bhavadura Mantra Nanembahammannu Suduvantha Tantra Ramanaya 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 Namo Ramanaya 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 Namo Shivarupi Tattvate Kondoiva Balavu Bhavadaseಗಳ ಸುಡುವ ಶ್ರೀಕಲ್ಪತರುವು ರಮಣಾಯ 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 ನಮೋ 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 रमणाय 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 नमः ॐ रमणाय नमः ॐ रमणाय नमः ॐ नमो रमण
கண்டார்த்தம் கண்கவரும் கண்ணாளன் பூங்காவில் வண்டா பரந்து மகிழ் மாதவத்தேனாவேனே கண்டார்த்தம் கண்கவரும் கண்ணாளன் பூங்காவில் வண்டா பரந்து மகிழ் மாதவத்தேனாவேனே கொண்டாடும் கொற்ற குடையரசும் யான் வேண்டேன் அண்டாரையில்லா அதிகரமணானந்தன் அண்டாரையில்லா அதிகரமணானந்தன் கண்டார்த்தம் கண் கவரும் கண்ணாளன் பூங்காவில் வண்டா பரந்து மகிழ் மாதவத்தேனாவேனே போவா புரந்தரந்தன் போகமுமே யான் வேண்டேன் சாவாத ஞானம் தரு வெங்கடரமணா போவா புரந்தரந்தன் போகமுமே யான் வேண்டேன் சாவாத ஞானம் தரு வெங்கடரமணா தேவாதி தேவசிகாமணிக்கு வன்கடப்பம் பூவாக பூக்குமுயர் புண்ணியத்தேனாவேனே தேவாதி தேவசிகாமணிக்கு வன்கடப்பம் பூவாக பூக்குமுயர் புண்ணியத்தேனாவேனே கண்டார்த்தம் கண்கவரும் கண்ணாள் பூங்காவில் வண்டா பரந்து மகிழ் மாதவத்தேனாவேனே வாணாளும் செல்வமும் இம்மண்ணரசும் யான் வேண்டேன் மானாபிமான மயக்கத்தோன் மாதேவா வாணாளும் செல்வமும் இம்மண்ணரசும் யான் வேண்டேன் மானாபிமான மயக்கத்தோன் மாதேவ சேனானியாம் வெங்கடரமணன் தீர்த்தத்தில் மீனா பிறக்கும் விடியுடையேனாவேனே மாதேவ சேனானியாம் வெங்கடரமணன் தீர்த்தத்தில் மீனா பிறக்கும் விடியுடையேனாவேனே கண்டார்த்தம் கண் கவரும் கண்ணாளன் பூங்காவில் வண்டா பரந்து மகிழ் மாதவத்தேனாவேனே கண்டார்த்தம் கண் கவரும் கண்ணாளன் பூங்காவில் வண்டா பரந்து மகிழ் மாதவத்தேனாவேனே. ஓம் நமோ பகவதே ஸ்ரீ ரமணாய.
Namo Ramana. These Ramananjali songs are written by Ramana and those saint poets who were soaked in the presence of Ramana, and one among them is Muruganar Swami. The last song, which was sung by Savitri Krishnan and Jaisriram Krishnan, was written by Muruganar Swami, where he says, "O Ramana, I wouldn't mind being a bee in your garden. I wouldn't mind being a flower in your garden or a fish in the pond in your garden. I want to be in your presence," says Muruganar Swami. And he is the one who has composed more than 30,000 verses on Bhagwan Ramana in his beautiful, profound Tamil poetry. Nandakumarji has been reading from Ramana's Muruganar. So we have a reading and sharing session by Sri Nandakumarji.
Namo Ramana. In this, the book reading segment of our satsang, we continue reading from Ramana's Muruganar, a birth centenary offering compiled and edited by our founder president, Shri A.R. Natarajanji. We have been reading Kanakammal's account of Muruganar, Ramana's Muruganar, and we have come to that point where Amma is describing the relationship between the Guru and the Sishya. We have gone some weeks without the satsang, so I'll retrace a little bit to one of the earlier accounts and then we can continue from there. The Guru who swallows the capital. There are innumerable advantages in being in Ramana's presence. He is a wish-fulfilling celestial tree, Kalpataru. The desired results come seeking the devotees. Many various sadhakas would come for Bhagavan's clarification on some spiritual practice or the other. His replies would be of immense value to those present. Often it would happen that some unexpressed doubt of a devotee would be cleared by the reply given by Ramana to some other questioner. Once, some disciples of Swami Vilakshananda came for a visit to the ashram. They told Bhagavan, our Guru has directed that each disciple should do a particular japa a few thousands of times each day and dedicate its fruits to the Guru, to him. We follow his instructions. What is the method prescribed here in Ramanashram? Bhagavan had a hearty laugh and said, is it so? A fine arrangement, isn't it? The disciples do not trouble the Guru. They do what is needed and the benefit accrues to the Guru. While he was saying this, Muruganar entered the hall. Addressing him, Bhagavan said, just listen to what these people are saying. Their Guru asks them to repeat their mantra a few thousands of times and surrender the fruits to him. What would remain for his disciples? It is like keeping the capital but parting with the interest to the Guru. A fine arrangement, isn't it? Whatever is the interest earned has to be offered to the Guru. Bhagavan laughingly repeats that to Muruganar. In a choked voice and with tears, Muruganar said, this is not that bad. At least the capital remains intact. The Guru here swallows even the capital. Afterwards, who remains to give the interest? Both interest and capital would be eaten up. Muruganar is saying in a choked voice with tears, Muruganar said, this is not bad. At least the capital remains intact. The Guru here swallows even the capital. Afterwards, who remains to give the interest? Both the interest and capital would be eaten up. What Muruganar meant was, Bhagavan graciously destroys the mind of staunch devotees. This is like swallowing the capital, since who can do japa when the one to do it is not there? What can be dedicated when one to dedicate is not there? Mind is the capital. The japa done by using the mind is the interest. What is left to do when the mind is destroyed? In the world, if persons depending on interest, lose their capital, it would be a disaster. But when Bhagavan's grace dissolves the mind, it is the best thing that can happen. For then one experiences the bliss of the self. Mind is the capital. The japa done by using it is the interest. What is left to do when the mind is destroyed? In this world, if persons depending on interest lose their capital, it would be disaster. But when Bhagavan's grace dissolves the mind, it is the best thing that can happen, for then one experiences the bliss of the self. The next topic taken up by Amma is liberation from worship. Once again, relationship between Guru and Sishya. The temple of Bhagavan's mother at Sri Ramanashramam, built according to the scriptural requirements, is quite special. The Sri Chakra Meru inside the Sanctum Sanctorum has been drawing many by the powerful radiations around. It is a sight to see the peacocks dancing around the temple towers. While we now have the beautiful temple, in the early years, it was a small structure. The ashram too had not grown. The daily worship would be done by the inmates of the ashram and sometimes by the ashram manager Chinnaswami. Once, Muruganar was requested to perform the worship. For him, it was a very difficult task indeed. There is a quote which says, "I cannot play the fiddle, but I can make a city into a great country," by a philosopher from Greece. That means just because somebody is not able to do a small task, you should not think that that person is incapable of great things. This is different, that is different. For him, it was very difficult task indeed. Why? Firstly, he was a perfectionist. Whatever he did had to be thorough. Secondly, he would perform his actions single-mindedly with total attention, but had no time sense at all. He would go on with the worship till he was fully satisfied without any idea about the passage of time. He would be rubbing the lingam so that there would not be any trace of oil from the abhisheka, pouring of oil over the linga. Next, he would endlessly clean the area. While watching him do the worship, Bhagavan humorously remarked, "The way you are rubbing the linga, it would wear off in no time. The lingam itself would disappear." The lingam is supposed to be indication of the formless, but then the Muruganar's rubbing would make it really formless, is what Bhagavan is saying. Another day, Bhagavan, who came inside unnoticed, saw the predicament in which Muruganar was placed. He could not simultaneously ring the bell and show the camphor light. He had to keep one down, for Muruganar could do only one thing at a time. Whatever he did, his attention was riveted in that action and that action only. The question of doing two things at a time just did not arise. He started mumbling, saying, "How do people manage to say mantras, ring the bell, and show the camphor plate?" Seeing this, Bhagavan remarked smilingly, "Enough, enough. What a fine way to offer worship." Hearing Bhagavan's voice, Muruganar was taken aback. Absorbed in his worship, he did not know that Bhagavan had come there. He told him, Muruganar told Bhagavan, "I just cannot continue doing puja anymore. I am not able to do it. I have had enough. I give up. I will report this to Chinnaswami." Bhagavan replied, "Yes, yes, you have been liberated from worship." Something you are not able to do does not mean that you have to aspire and get it. You can say that Bhagavan has saved you from doing that. This one-pointedness of Muruganar is evident from yet another incident. One day, he walked into the hall. As he was prostrating, Bhagavan asked him something. As Muruganar was prostrating flat, Bhagavan asked him something. He replied without getting up. Later, when asked by Vishwanath Swami why he could not have waited till he got up, Muruganar said, "What can I do? If Bhagavan asks me something, I have to reply immediately. At that time, I do not know whether I am prostrating, sitting, or standing." The question is addressed to the mind and it's not aware of what the body is doing. Guru has asked, I should respond. That is the bhakti he has had. Fasting on Shivaratri. That's the next topic. Fasting on Shivaratri. Muruganar never minded going without food. On some days, he would go begging for alms. He would not go begging for alms. Normally, he would go begging for alms. On some days, he would skip going begging for alms. One such day happened to be Shivaratri, but Muruganar was not aware of it. That day, by practice of not going, let us not go today, like that he has skipped. But it so happened it was also Shivaratri, but Muruganar was not aware of it. Next day, he joined Bhagavan for circumambulation around the Arunachala hill, the Girivalam. Seeing that he was completely worn out, Bhagavan remarked, "What? Is it due to fasting for Shivaratri? Come with me to the ashram for food." So rarely Bhagavan, like Sri Krishna breaks his own vow, breaks the ashram rule that one who is outside cannot be invited for food, and when Bhagavan invites, can anybody stop? Nobody can stop. Come with me to ashram for food. While he was eating, Bhagavan, knowing of Muruganar's hunger, saw to it that he was served adequately for assuaging the hunger. This is also referred to in a verse in Kirti Tiruvahaval, when recalling this incident in later years, Muruganar would shed tears at the thought of Bhagavan's love. The depth of that in one whose mind no thought appears and the consciousness is not divided as seer and seen, worshipper and worship, in such absolute consciousness that Muruganar's name should have appeared and Bhagavan should have thought independently of him. Muruganar is able to feel that what a blessing the Guru has given, and that brings tears of gratitude to Muruganar. Later years, he would shed tears at the thought of Bhagavan's love. There are many such instances between Bhagavan and Muruganar. Muruganar wrote, "Born in Tiruchuli, Ramana wipes out the fate of his devotees. Though he was not versed in scriptures, the great Vedic scholars held him in highest respect. The Vedanta Sara was Bhagavan, is Bhagavan. The Vedic scholars held him in highest respect." Muruganar goes on in this manner, verse after verse in Ramanacentre Murai, assuring the devotees of the limitless, pure state by Bhagavan's grace. Was Muruganar able to expound the silent message of Bhagavan with such authenticity because of experience which Bhagavan had bestowed on him, is the humble question that Kanakammal puts characteristically to us, though she knows very well that it is so, that Muruganar is a blessed one on whom the Ahankara Rahita Sthiti has been directly bestowed by Bhagavan, and that comes up in the next incident too. The next incident is gathering leaves for plates. With Bhagavan's grace, we will continue the reading of that in the coming weeks. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. I request Sri Nandakumarji to continue the satsang with the self-enquiry session.
For the self-enquiry session, let us take a verse randomly from Guruvachka Kove. We are having before us verse number 755, gradations of sadhana. This is in the chapter meditation on the truth. The three chapters are investigation into truth, meditation on the truth, and experience of the truth. This subheading is gradations of sadhana. 755. If rather than wasting his days, the jiva takes up the practice of vichara with firm resolve, his life will come to possess great excellence. If rather than wasting his days, the jiva takes up the practice of vichara with firm resolve, his life will come to possess great excellence. The idea, I am this wretched body, will cease, and the sea of surpassing supreme bliss will surge abundantly within him. The idea, I am this wretched body, will cease, and the sea of surpassing supreme bliss will surge abundantly within him. So how the sadhana of vichara is to be held is taken up in this verse. If rather than wasting his days, we know what all ways we waste the days, but here the verse is saying, by specifically referring to Atma Vichara, that not doing Atma Vichara is wasting the days. Now, how can some teacher tell like this so sharply that not doing Atma Vichara is wasting of time? Indirectly, implicitly. Because that is how Bhagavan defines the problem. Bhagavan says in Ulladu Narpadu, he says, Jada Udal Nan Ennadu, Satchittu Udiyadu, Udalalawa Nanondrudikum Idailedu, Chit Jadagiranti, Pandam, Jeevan, Nutpamei, Ahandai, Ichamusaram, Manam Yen. What we consider as various problems, Bhagavan reduces it to one problem. We say how to survive, what to do about tomorrow, what kind of education will lead us to better days, what to do with the relationship problems, which are so many and so complex. All this, what to do when some whole group of people are kidnapping the people belonging to another group, and that group retaliates by putting bombs on these people. All these problems, Bhagavan says, have one root cause. That one root cause is the knot formed between the Satchit and the inert body. Jadavudal Nanennadu. The inert body cannot have this consciousness I. And Satchit, the existence consciousness, does not rise as I. It is self-luminous. It does not rise as I or subside into itself. Therefore, Udalalawa Nanundrudikku. To the extent of the body, a consciousness rises and identifies. This is called as Abhasa Chit. This is called as Adhyasa in Sanskrit, because two unlike things are now made one with each other and one is taken for another. The doshas of the Deha are taken and superimposed on the purity of the self, and the Chit and Sat of the self are now superimposed and imagined to be there for the inert Deha. Therefore, This root, Chit Jada Giranti, this itself is Bandham, this itself is Samsaram, this itself is Manas, this itself is Ahankar, this itself is all the problems. So whatever the problem may be, the root cause, Bhagavan says, is the Chit Jada Granthi. And in his explanation, Lakshman Sharmaji says, all that you can consider as bad, all that you consider as wrong, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, all those, Matsari, all those killing, robbing, all this, the root cause is this Chit Jada Granthi, he says. Bhagavan would say that in his personal interactions, whereas there is no space in the verse, therefore he has not included in that, he says, in the commentary. That means all that which is wrong is to be only reduced to one problem of Chit Jada Granthi. And in Anubandham, Bhagavan says, all good is only the Dehatma Bhavam Aral. The tapas, the jnanam, the sahamal, savariv, all this is only Dehatma Bhavam Aral. All good is getting rid of the I am the body idea. That is what is said here, that the idea I am the wretched body will cease. Now that we are identifying with this body, Urupatri undu, Urupatri nirkum. Now our ego is abiding as I am the body by holding on to the form. Urupatri undu miga omgum. It eats many forms, first person, second person, third person. The moment I assume I am the body, then I have the interplay with so many individuals, and I superimpose Sat and Chit on those bodies where it really is not there, and the ego gets bloated. But what happens when we inquire? The Vicharita Votam Padikum. The moment you start inquiring, that will run away, will escape, because it cannot stand the heat of self-enquiry or self-attention. That is what is said here, that the I am the body idea will erase if we don't yield to wasting our time, but do the self-enquiry diligently. I am the wretched body will cease, and what happens? The sea of surpassing supreme bliss, where, as we were mentioning in the book reading, the consciousness is full of bliss. It is not divided into worshipper and worshipped. It is the Anburu. It is the form of love into which the worshipper has merged. There is no division as worshipper and worshipped in the self. Therefore, the sea of surpassing supreme bliss, even in Abhyasa Kala, you will know that this is the highest Ananda. Suppose we build a home and do Graha Pravesham. The Graha Pravesham is over. The next day, how long will you hold that thought? Aha, what a house I have built. How happy I am. Immediately, the series of thoughts, the other thoughts displace that. So, we can easily see how that cannot give the Ananda that is unbroken. Whereas, the one who is constructed the house, who has spent all his energy in that, is always present, but escapes attention because of interest in the non-self. And Bhagavan says, hold the I. The Supreme Being is the Adhara of the subject itself. So far as you are seeing the object, you cannot see God as God is. God is the Ullaporul, ever existence being. And how to perceive him as God is? Only to inquire, who am I? There the Chit Jada Granthi, the I am this wretched body idea is cut asunder, and the sea of surpassing supreme bliss will surge abundantly from within us. The aham ahaminashabaj aham taya spurati hrit swayam parama purna sat. That purna vastu would have eaten us up. And since that alone is how to worship the Supreme, which is all, except be one with that, except lose all separation and be one with the Supreme Being. That is what Bhagavan says in the invocation to the work self-enquiry. So that is where he takes us with this Brahmastra. Whenever the ego rises and wants to follow a thought, Bhagavan tells to the ego, Arey, you cannot see God as God is by holding that thought, by following that object. God is the very self-luminous light, that is the adhara for your I thought. Hariyaditara jivara ahavarisa guhayil arivairami paramatman arunachalaram. How to see the Paramatma who is within the I thought? Hold the I thought. Don't pursue the other thought. Hold the I thought. And don't waste time in other things. Pursue self-enquiry. Then I am the wretched body idea will be cut asunder. And the supreme bliss, the undivided bliss, will rise from within and will exist self-luminously all by itself. That's what alone is. No individual ever is. That's where self-enquiry takes us. For the next 10 minutes, let us sit in Atma Ucharam. Ujwalji, we can trouble you for the time. Thank you.
नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. In this part of the satsang, we were meditating on the verses of Ramanacentre written by Ganapati Muni, and they have been compiled and given to us in this format of Ramanacentre by Ramana himself. And these verses of Ganapati Muni are chanted in the morning puja, the milk offering puja in the morning at the Ramaneshwara Mahalinga Sannidhi. And these verses that we are meditating are very, very beautiful, which talks about not only of Ramana's speech, his words, his Upadesha, his mantra that he has blessed us with, but also his compassionate glance. Timirānina kevalam vachobhihi karunāpāṅga vilokitaischa nrīṇāṃ. Timirānina kevalam vachobhihi karunāpāṅga vilokitaischa nrīṇāṃ. Hridaye pasaranti mardayantam bhagavantam Ramanam gurum namami. Hridaye pasaranti mardayantam bhagavantam Ramanam gurum namami. Ramanam gurum namami. Ramanam gurum namami. Kattalaya kevala vachanadindallade karuna katakshadinda harisi. Kattalaya kevala vachanadindallade karuna katakshadinda harisi. Narara hridayava ಬೆಳಗಿಪ ಶ್ರೀ ಭಗವಾನ್ ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ. ನರರ ಹೃದಯವ ಬೆಳಗಿಪ ಶ್ರೀ ಭಗವಾನ್ ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ. ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ. ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ. ಭವಜಲನಿಧಿಂ ಗಾಹಂ ಗಾಹಂ ಚಿರಾದಲಸಾಲಸಾನ್ ಪದಜಲರುಹ ದ್ವಂದ್ವದೀಪಂ ಶ್ರುತಾಂಸ್ತವ ಸಂಪ್ರತಿ. ಭವಜಲನಿಧಿಂ ಗಾಹಂ ಗಾಹಂ ಚಿರಾದಲಸಾಲಸಾನ್ ಪದಜಲರುಹ ದ್ವಂದ್ವದೀಪಂ ಶ್ರುತಾಂಸ್ತವ ಸಂಪ್ರತಿ. ರಮಣ ಭಗವನ್ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಾನಾಂ ನಿಕೇತನ ಪಾಹಿನಃ. ರಮಣ ಭಗವನ್ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಾನಾಂ ನಿಕೇತನ ಪಾಹಿನಃ. ಸದಯದಯಯಾ ಸಿಕ್ತೈರ್ಭಕ್ತಾನಪಾಂಗವಿಲೋಕಿತೈಃ. ಸದಯದಯಯಾ ಸಿಕ್ತೈರ್ಭಕ್ತಾನಪಾಂಗವಿಲೋಕಿತೈಃ. ರಮಣಂ ಗುರುಂ ನಮಾಮಿ. ರಮಣಂ ಗುರುಂ ನಮಾಮಿ. ಭವಜಲದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿರಕಾಲದಿಂದ ಮುಳುಗಿ ಮುಳುಗಿ ದಣಿದಿಹೆವು. ಭವಜಲದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿರಕಾಲದಿಂದ ಮುಳುಗಿ ಮುಳುಗಿ ದಣಿದಿಹೆವು. ನಿನ್ನ ಪದ ಜಲಜವೇ ದ್ವೀಪವೆರಡು ಆಶ್ರಯಿಸಿ ಈಗ ಬಂದಿಹೆವು. ನಿನ್ನ ಪದ ಜಲಜವೇ ದ್ವೀಪವೆರಡು ಆಶ್ರಯಿಸಿ ಈಗ ಬಂದಿಹೆವು. ರಮಣ ದೇವನೇ ಸಕಲ ಒಳಿತಿನ ನಿಲಯನೇ ರಕ್ಷಿಸೆಮ್ಮ. ರಮಣ ದೇವನೇ ಸಕಲ ಒಳಿತಿನ ನಿಲಯನೇ ರಕ್ಷಿಸೆಮ್ಮ. ದಯೆಯ ಸುರಿಸು ಧೀರರಿಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣಂಚಿನ ನೋಟದಿಂದ. ದಯೆಯ ಸುರಿಸು ದೀನರಿಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣಂಚಿನ ನೋಟದಿಂದ. ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ, 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 ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ. Ganapati Muni says, not only by his sweet speech, but also through his karuna kataksha, karuna panga vilokitaischa, na kevalam vachobhihi, not only by his sweet words, but also through his compassionate glance, he is destroying the ignorance that is clouding the hearts of his devotees. To that Ramana we prostrate, to that Bhagavan Ramana we prostrate. In the national seminar that we had recently, we have been meditating on the logo of a Ramanashramam divined by Bhagavan Ramana. And that speakers and seekers meditating on that beautiful logo were telling it has the both aspect, the Omkara, which is the aspect of sound, and the sun, which is the aspect of light. And Ramana also mentions about the Spurana. Spurana, the aham Spurana, which is there in the heart. The Spurana is a word which can be used for the sound also, and Spurana is also the light. So, as if to reflect, as if to symbolize that Spurana, which is both sound and light, which is ever shining and ever calling us within. The logo has been divined with the Omkara in the center and the sun around it. And the Omkara is the cosmic sound. It is the primordial sound, which is the basis for all the other sounds. And it is told in the Vedas, Upanishads and Puranas that it is the Omkara which appeared first. And from that Omkara appeared the U and Ma, the Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. And it is through that Omkara all the alphabets came into being, and all the languages and all the Vedas, all the Shastras arised from that Omkara. And Ramana equates Arunachala to Omkara. Omkara Purul Oppuyar Villoi Unayar Arivar Arunachala. Oh Arunachala, you are that Omkara which is incomparable. How can one understand your expanse, how you envelop everything in the universe? How can we understand you fully other than being as Arunachala? The only way of understanding the Omkara is to be the Omkara. The only way of understanding Arunachala is to become Arunachala. And this Upadesha he gives in the first verse, Arunachalame aham. Understand that Arunachala is the heart. We are Arunachala. Only when you understand this, then alone the ego is completely destroyed. Then you can experience your own true nature as the bliss. This ego is the Andhakara, and Ramana is the light. He is the sun who has come to destroy this Andhakara. And out of his compassion, he is ever showering his compassion, his grace through his eyes, which are just like sun, which are ever present. It is only the earth which moves away from the sun, but the sun is ever shining. The sun never sets. When you go to the Chidakasha, the Akasha, the space, we understand that the sun is never setting. Sun is glowing as itself all the time. It is the movement of the earth which makes the sun rise in the morning and set in the evening. So Ramana is that sun which is ever present, and he is ever showering his compassionate grace towards him, towards us, towards his devotees. But sometimes we fail to see that ever present light. So Ramana, out of his compassion, has come in the human form, in a form that we can relate to, we can speak to, we can complain and put our prayers. And Ramana listens to all those prayers and gives his only Upadesha of silence. And his words also make us turn towards the silence. Ramana says, nothing needs to be done. Summa ire. Be as you are. Be as you are. Be still and know yourself. He says in various ways with his sweet words, and he has given us so many works to meditate on. The one of them among them is the Arunachala Stuti Panchakam, the 5 hymns on Arunachala that he has written, each filled with such loving words. And if one meditates on the verses of Arunachala, Aksharamanamalai, we can relate to every verse. Every verse is brings out our feelings and ups and downs in this inward journey towards Arunachala. And Ramana, as if he is resonating our feelings in each of these verses, he gives us these supports so that we can hold on to it. And where does this Arunachala take us? The Arunachala, Aksharamanamalai, Ramana says, that has been feeding us for many, many years. So these mantras, these Upadesha, the teachings that Ramana has given, it satiates all the needs and the desires that we have. But at the meantime, it destroys the very source of all desires and needs and takes us back to our own true nature where there is no need. ಹಸಿವುದಾಹಗಳೇ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥ ದ್ವೇಷ ತಮಸಲ್ಲದ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಶ್ರೀರಮಣನ ಮೌನದ ಕೊಳಲು ನುಡಿವ ಕೇವಲ ಪದಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೆವ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ರಮಣ ಗುರು ನನ್ನನು ತನ್ನೆದೆ ಗುಹೆಗೆ. Ramana is calling us with these sweet words to get back to our own true nature. He is taking us slowly and silently to our true home where there is no hasivu, there is no hunger, there is no thirst, there is no need, there is no selfishness, there is no desire, where there is only the silent flute of Ramana, which alone gives us solace and eternal joy. In the next verse, in the 34th verse, Ganapati Muni says, O Ramana, we have been diving again and again and again into this ocean of samsara. Bhavajala nidim gaham gaham chiradala salasan. For chirakala, for long time, we have been diving again and again into this ocean of samsara. And we are very, very tired. tired of swimming and trying to save ourselves from this ocean of samsara. And your twin feet are like the two dvipas, two islands where we can hold on to it and find refuge. Your feet are like your lotus-like feet are like Dvandva Deepa, are like two islands where we can hold on to and be there and find solace. But, O Ramana, you are the abode of all the auspiciousness, all the virtues, all that is good is you. So please shower your grace and make this Dina, this devotee, free from this ocean of samsara, says Ganapati Muni in this verse. Sadhu Swami says, as an answer to Ganapati Muni, that we have come to Bhagavan Ramana. We have come to those lotus feet, which are like the two islands which are saving us from this, the current of the ocean of Bhavasagara. We have come here. Once we have come to the feet of Bhagavan Ramana, that is the end of Samsara Sagara. We have reached our destination. From here, Bhagavan knows the right time and he will teach us the right Vidya that has to be learnt from us. The Vidya that has to be learnt in the heart, and he will bestow the liberation. Sadhu Swami says, Yella piraviyum yetru muditten irudhi piraviyil guruvai aditten kalla kalai idayathil paditten kalla kalai idayathil paditten gati peruvom guru kadalai piditten Ramanaya namo Ramanaya namo Ramanaya namo namavenvom Yella piraviyum yetru muditten irudhi piraviyil guruvai aditten. I have already finished taking many piravis, many janmas, many births in this ocean of Bhavasagara. Now what Ganapati Muni says, again and again I've dived, I've come out. Again I've dived, again I've come out. I've been entering and coming out of this Bhavasagara again and again. I have finished taking all the births. Iradi piravil guruvai aditten. Now that I have attained the feet of my Guru, this is the last janma that I have. And Kalla kalai idayathil paditten. That Vidya that cannot be learnt, that I have learnt it in the heart. Ramana has taught me that Vidya which cannot be taught. That Vidya he has taught me in the heart. And I am holding on to that Vidya, and Gati peruvom guru kadalai piditten. I am sure that I will be liberated. So I am holding on to these feet of Bhagavan Ramana, singing his glory, singing Ramanaya namo, Ramanaya namo, Ramanaya namo, namavenvom. I am singing his glory and holding on to his twin island-like, lotus-like feet. And I am assured by Ramana that this is my last piravi, the last birth, and he is going to liberate me by showering his grace on me, says Sadhu Swami. And this is a prayer from all of us, that we don't know what is the merit that we have done, but we have been brought to these Dvandva Deepa, this feet which is giving us so much solace, and that Ramana is giving us the right Upadesha at the right time, and he is making us turn within, and he is holding our hands, and we are holding his feet for sure, but he is holding us. That's why we are able to hold his feet, and it is his duty and his grace to take us within and liberate us, to take us to our true home from where there is no coming out. To reveal this truth, Ramana has come into our lives. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. We will conclude today's satsang with the chanting of a few verses from Arunachala Aksharamanamalai by Srimati V. Radha and Chiranjeevi Vallabh Srinivasan. This will be followed by the Ashtottara puja to Bhagavan and Arati. The Ashtottara will be done here at the Ramana Maharshi Heritage Center, and the chanting of the Ashtottara will be by Vaibhavji and Prarthana and Uma Shripati.
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Omkara porul muppuyadillur unayar arivar Arunachala. Avai polena kunnarulai thandanayaaluvadum kadan Arunachala. Kannukku kannai kannindri kaanunai kaanuvadevar Arunachala. காந்தமிரும்பு போல் கவந்தென்னை விடாமல் கலந்தென்னோடிருப்பார் அருணாச்சலா. கிரியுருவாகிய கிருபை கடலை கிருப்பை கூந்தருளுவாய் அருணாச்சலா. கீழ்மேலெங்கும் கிளரொளி மணியன் கீழ்மலை பாஷை அருணாச்சலா. குற்றமுற்றறுத்தென்னை குணமாய் பணித்தாள் குரு உருவாய் ஒளி அருணாச்சலா. கூர்வாட்கண்ணிய கொடுமையை படாதருள் கூர்ந்தென்னை சேர்ந்தருள் அருணாச்சலா. கெஞ்சியும் வஞ்சிய கொஞ்சமும் இறங்கில்லை அஞ்சல் என்றே அருள் அருணாச்சலா. கேளாதழைக்கும் முன் கேடில் புகழை கேடு செய்யாதருள் அருணாச்சலா. கையினில் கனி உன் மீரசம் கொண்டு உவகை பெரி கொள்ள அருணாச்சலா. கொடியெட்டடியரை கொல்லுனை கட்டி கொண்டென் வாழ்வேன் அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ, அருணாச்சல சிவ, அருணாச்சல சிவ, 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 அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ, அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ, அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சலம் வாழி அன்பர்களும் வாழி. அக்ஷரமணமாலை வாழி. நமோ ரமணா.
नमो रमण. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चेत् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि. ॐ महासेनमहं शेन जाताय नमः. ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः. ॐ गुरवे नमः. ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः. ॐ महौजसे नमः. ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः. ॐ जगद्गीतावताराय नमः. ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः. ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः। ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः। ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः। ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः। ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः। ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रधिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ च्यूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः।
ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलरुद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादकसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ मृच्छान्तकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणात्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः।
ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्री अष्टोत्तर शतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थाणोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्या जनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाह विवशस्तादात्म्यभावं गतः हृन्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्येकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शन सुख मंगल मुख सकल जीवहित सम्मुख ब्रह्म संगिये सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिवानंद पुष्ट परम महर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिवप्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತೆ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡುತ್ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೂಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಮೂಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಗಿಯೇ नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की जय। नमो नमो नमो
नमो रमण everyone.
नमो रमण